low dose, and a high dose, which is actually high dose is 16% of the diet. That's even very low. So as I said, the control trial phase 1, and then this is the actual testing period, took longer for the control to find a hidden platform, whereas rats treated terostilbene took them shorter time to find the hidden platform. So there was an improvement in their memory. And that was measured in terms of the latency and in terms of also the distance traveled to reach the hidden platform. And one of the exciting things about this study also is I analyzed terostilbene in the hippocampus, which is part of the brain. It has to do with the memory, and found levels of terostilbene in the hippocampus, proving that terostilbene crosses the blood-brain barrier and actually hits a target tissue in the brain where it should function. And more interestingly is there's a negative correlation between levels of terostilbene in the hippocampus and the distance or the latency to find the hidden platform. So we were very excited about this. And then we did a further study, in this case using what we call a SAMP8, senescence accelerated mouse, which is prone to senescence, and using a control, it just says SAMR, which is resistant to senescence. And again, I want to be able to compare the grape compound resveratrol with my compound. Therefore, we did 120 milligram per kilogram of the diet, 8-week feeding, which is equivalent, that dose is equivalent to equated to content of resveratrol in 2 glasses of wine. And after 8 weeks, we tested for cognitive function in the radial arm water maze test. And we did another test than this, I believe that we did. And then also markers of cellular stress, inflammation, and Alzheimer's disease pathology were investigated and was positively modulated by terostilbene, but not resveratrol. And me being interested in PPAR alpha, as having discovered terostilbene as PPAR alpha agonist, measured also the upregulation of PPAR alpha in the hippocampus, and we were able to correlate that the improvements in behavior and cellular markers were associated with upregulation of the hippocampal PPAR alpha. So this is one of the tests we did to determine the mind function of the senescence-prone mouse, called a step-through passive avoidance test. So rats, they want to go to the dark hole innately, but in this test, once they go to the dark box, there is a mild aversion of 0.3 milliamps electrical shock for 1 second. So if they know that they're going to be shocked, they will not go there. So what happened here, the control, which is, the senescence accelerated mouse, prone. You see, in the first test, this is their trial test, phase 1. And now what is important to know here is the low latency to step through the dark box is indicative of cognitive dysfunction. So you can see this aged mouse, still, they don't know they're going to be shocked to go there. They still went there. There is still low latency. Resveratrol did the same thing, resveratrol rats, but look at terostilbene. Their memory improved. They knew not to go in the dark box, so look at this. They have improved their memory. Another test we did is called the radial arm water maze performance, wherein the rat is placed in the center, and in one of the arms there is, again, a hidden platform where they should know which of the arms have the hidden platform. And so it's a more specific test for hippocampal function and measures spatial memory, just like the Morris water maze test. And in this case, the higher number of errors is indicative of cognitive dysfunction. This is trial 1, where they first customize themselves in the radial arm. And this is trial 2. As you can see, the SAMP8, senescence prone mouse, still had high errors, whereas the resistant mouse, age-resistant mouse here, has low errors. This is resveratrol right here, but resveratrol is the red, but look at terostilbene is very low as well. So there is significant improvement in the terostilbene treated groups in terms of the memory improvement of the mouse. In terms of measuring the markers, we always do that to always see if what we observe in the behavioral tests actually also are observed in terms of cellular markers. So just look at this one. This is the age-prone mouse. I'm sorry, that's the control mouse. And PPAR alpha in the age-prone mouse is low. Resveratrol did not do anything, but terostilbene reversed that to the level of the control age-resistant mouse. And manganese superoxide dismutase is the internal antioxidant enzyme in our brain. You see, in the age-resistant, this is the normal level. In the age-prone mouse, this is a low level, means they are less competent in providing antioxidative capacity. Resveratrol didn't do anything, but rats fed terostilbene. Look, the manganese dioxide, dismutase level increased to the level of the age-resistant. And we've seen a pattern over and over, the same for between resveratrol and terostilbene-treated mice. There's always improvement in the terostilbene-treated animals. And one other effect on the mind that terostilbene has, which we were able to demonstrate, is its ability to have anxiolytics, anti-anxiety function. And this is PST is terostilbene, and diazepam is the first drug of choice for people with anxiety disorders. As you can see, at 1 to 2 milligram per kilogram doses, terostilbene behaves, this is the locomotor activity. The advantage of terostilbene over diazepam is that diazepam has a side effect of making patients sort of sluggish, lethargic, but terostilbene at all doses did not show that effect. While the diazepam-treated animals see there's decrease in activity, whereas terostilbene had almost same levels of activity while conferring the anti-anxiety effect. So the way we measure the anti-anxiety effect is by this test, elevated plus MACE test, wherein this is an elevated cross or elevated plus, where the animal is put in the center. And the natural tendency, because in the state of anxiety, they will not go to this covered or protected arms, because they're anxious. They want to enter this more than the open arms. Using diazepam as a control, you can see that the number of entry in the open arms, number of entry in the open arm increases with dose similar to terostilbene. It increases in dose up to 2 milligram per kilogram body weight. And at these doses, we believe that what is happening at this point is that the mouse becomes, now the cognitive function takes into effect. Let's see that. So in all parameters, entry in the open arms and entry in the closed arm, terostilbene behaves similarly as the prescription drug diazepam for anxiety. And as I said earlier, it has the beneficial effect of not having the lethargic side effect, which is generally observed with diazepam patients. One more activity that I'd like to mention for terostilbene, we also demonstrated its efficacy against colon cancer. These are just markers of colon cancer, and also inflammatory markers which are increased in association with colon cancer onset. And this is tests is done in animals for 48-week feeding, and see the control. Against terostilbene, the tumor incidence is much lower in terostilbene-treated animals compared to the control, and multiplicity is also lower in terostilbene as well as tumor of invasive and non-invasive cells. And one most recent study we have is using actually genetic mice that develops prostate cancer rapidly, and we were able to show that terostilbene reduces that. This is resveratrol. See, there's increase in the size of the tumor, and that's the control, and terostilbene reduced that. And these are just the numerical interpretation or evaluation data for those images. One last thing I'd like to mention, that terostilbene was voted in 2010 as the most promising ingredient of the year and received that award. And in 2011, it was a runner-up in the Nutricon competition of Ingredient Idol of the Year. Yeah, there's such a thing, and I didn't even know. I was just laughing, but I'm proud of it. And in 2011, it also obtained a GRAS, generally recognized as safe, paving the way for its use in food and beverage markets. I think this is the last slide for this. And just to summarize the studies I've had over the years, I wouldn't say several years, it's just in the last 12 years, I would say, 10 to 12 years. So terostilbene, impact increase in blueberry cells, I've shown you that slide. And there are 8 USDA patents related to terostilbene. 6 have been licensed, and now this is into at least 40 different products on the market and sold through various channels, including one major retail drugstore, actually. Online stores, including also direct to physicians, or physicians practically prescribe it to